Hey Buda, I'm here with McCall Drilling. We're out here getting ready to put in some 5G into Buda. Well, this is pretty awesome because McCall Drilling's here doing it. You got Mike, which is the owner, Mike McCall, his son Landon, and Logan. They're here to do some pretty awesome drilling, and I'm going to show you what we're getting ready to do. All right, we're back again. I'm here with Mike. He's really kind of like the mole. He's a mole, and he's the kind of guy that knows what the underground looks like. So Mike, explain to me, how do you guys figure out how that piece of equipment right there is able to dig 400 feet that direction?
Well, actually, the first step is you'd call in locates, which is calling USIC. They'll come out and mark all the utilities. Once the utilities are marked, then we come out with a vac and we pothole them. Once we find the depth of the...
Well, what's a pothole?
A pothole is where you dig on top of the utility to find the utility to make sure that you don't hit it.
Okay.
And then once you find it, you find all the utilities, you lay your path out, and you just start drilling.
And so how long does this drill take to go 400 feet? How long do you think it's going to take you to get this thing going?
About an hour.
About an hour?
Yeah, we can be from
That's
here
amazing.
to 400 feet in about an hour.
400 feet.
If it's dirt.
Okay.
Now rock, you're talking, that depends on how hard the rock is and stuff.
Okay. All right. But you're covered for that, right?
Yes.
You've got the right equipment. So over here you got a bid for rock, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you got the
We got the
capacity
dirt.
to be able to do something. You got dirt. You have a dirt spade right here.
Yes.
That's that thing right there. And that's kind of like a skid, right? It kind of skids through and it shoots water through and then it kind of just rotates, right?
Correct.
And it only rotates to be able to guide where it wants to go. So that flat spade right here, this spade basically is the bottom, and wherever this is pushing, it's going to push in that direction. So if you want to go to 3 o'clock, it turns it this way. If it turns to 9 o'clock, it turns that way.
Correct.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, then you got 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. And we also have what you call a sign.
Okay.
You put a sign in the head, then you have a
Wait, a sign, like a big road sign?
No, a sign. A sign.
A sign. Would that be a sonar?
Yes.
It's a sonar. So look, you have a sonar inside this thing?
Yes, it goes right in
That's
this slot
pretty
right
awesome.
here.
So it's almost like a U-boat kind of thing going under the dirt.
Correct.
Okay. So it's sending a signal to what? What does that signal go to?
It goes to an F5 locating system.
Okay. Which is what?
And that is, they're calibrating it now.
That's what they're doing over there.
Yeah,
All right.
That's what they're calibrating.
So Logan's got
He's got the locating system, the F5 locator.
Okay.
And basically it'll communicate with a sign.
Okay.
And basically what he's doing is calibrating it. And the way you do that is you lay out a tape measure, you put the sign on one end, your locating system on the other, and they should communicate. If you're 10 feet away, the locator should say 10 feet away.
Okay. All right.
That way we can make sure we're precise on our depth and distance and so forth.
So what happens when you're not precise? What can happen?
You can hit a utility and do some damage.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. What's your worst horror story that you can think of? Not you, of course, right? Right? Not you, of course. Right. But that you can think of that somebody has had when they didn't do what your sons are doing right now.
Yeah. If you don't calibrate it, basically what could happen is you really don't know the path you're going. So you think you're in one direction and you could end up somewhere else. And basically I have heard of people come out, they think they're on the right path, but they may end up coming out in the middle of the road or something.
Wow.
Yeah, because they didn't calibrate their equipment.
Wow. That could be a pretty significant emotional event, couldn't it?
Yes, sir. It could.
Oh boy. So this machine that you've got, it has a capacity to do quite a bit of work.
It does.
So how busy are you in a year?
We could work 7 days a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's never enough work, right?
Never enough.
Okay.
Never enough time. A lot
never
of work.
enough time, yeah.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. And so how often does your machine break? Too much, right?
Not too much. Occasionally we have to replace the head units.
Okay.
That takes all the brunt force and the pushing and the drilling and so forth.
Right. That's this piece down here, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
okay.
Sir. We have to replace that. It's called a starter rod.
Okay.
Like I said,
so there's a starter rod.
Yeah, that takes all the force. But I would say every 200 hours we replace that.
Okay. All right. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so what we're out here doing, what he's out here doing actually, so Michael and his sons are out here to dig, right? Today is going to be a 400-foot, basically, tunnel,
yes,
right?
Sir. Yes, sir.
And then by Friday, we're looking at having some 5G line put in here.
Yes,
now,
sir.
that doesn't mean 5G is getting ready to come today. 5G is coming. right?
We're putting in the conduit for it.
Yeah, we're putting in the conduit for it. They're going to actually run fiber optics later, and they're going to have all that stuff ready to go.
Correct.
But here in the next probably year or so, we're going to speed up. So stay tuned. Cheers.